Attention please. This upload is only for educational purpose. No intention to infringe copyrights. Learning English with subtitles. GPITRAL. GPITRAL. Definitely a must-see. Follow us.
In July of 2004, Dakota Cheeks and Ricky Joyce were on a hunting trip in the woods of Kentucky. But it took a horrible turn. One of Ricky's dogs was mysteriously mangled. Then, their camper came under attack. Everything pointed to Appalachia's bizarre hybrid beast, sheep squatch.
Anything that aggressive doesn't deserve to be here. If it can't coexist, it needs to go.
At Ricky's grandparents' cabin, they gather more ammunition.
I know there's something out there.
This thing killed my dog, man.
I know it's a beast.
Whatever it was, it had to be huge.
We were determined to find something having that much strength. It made me want to find it more, but I knew that, we couldn't just go up there in a four-wheeler and expect everything to be okay.
I had some beast that lived on my property that killed my dog already. I didn't know what to do about it. I was scared that it was going to come to my house.
Nighttime. Ricky and Dakota travel through the woods on their quad bikes.
With guns loaded, Ricky and Dakota head back into the woods. They cross through a cemetery and entered an open field.
Your mind is telling you, 1,000 times, don't let him go. But ultimately, you begin to share his passion of, get it. Just be really careful, but get it.
Stacy Morgan, Dakota's aunt. On foot, the young men bravely pace through the woods with their guns at the ready. A creature lurking in the shadows appears to be watching them.
I seen something standing in the field, and at first I thought it was a tree. It was tall, but it was also kind of hunched over a little bit. It was big, it was white.
And its arms were long, but they were kind of out like this, and it had these long talons. It was too big to be a person. When it was on two legs, it stood at least 9 foot tall. I mean, it was massive. When it noticed us, it let out this just ungodly, gut-curling growl. It came straight at us.
And we were shooting. I don't know that we hit anything, but I remember coming back to the house as fast as we could.
We saw sheep squatch. That's what we saw.
And this wasn't the first sheep squatch encounter.
Anybody in the Appalachia region could experience these type things. They may be out hunting deer or something of that nature and stumble upon a creature that they never suspected.
I was on my way home, jumping down Ashby Lane, and there was this big hairy thing standing on the road. And as I got closer, I could see an eye. I thought it was a deer, but it was too big. Some kind of sheep thing with horns.
Ever since I was a little girl, I've always heard stories of the creepy things in the woods. I've always heard of Bigfoot, always heard of sheep squatch.
Even when Daniel Boone was around, they talked about this area being very mysterious. They would not hardly venture there due to certain things, I guess they called it a mysterious ground or something of that nature. So it's got a history that dates back all the way to Native American times.
From their description, it's clear Dakota and Ricky had stumbled into monster country.
I've been in some pretty scary situations, but most situations you know what you're dealing with, and that one I didn't. So I didn't know how to react. That's quite possibly the scariest moment of my life.
It'd have been completely different if it had just turned around and ran away. But it didn't.
It had been a night unlike any other, but it couldn't end there. They had to get a look at the scene one more time.
We decided we were going to come back when it was daylight and investigate more. So we came back to the same spot and could not find no blood or nothing where you'd hit anything.
One thing that kind of really struck us as odd is you could see drag marks going off into the woods. Almost as if something had come back and either drug it to safety or drug it off to eat it, or maybe it even drug itself off.
Yeah, man, let's get this stuff packed. It's like it's about 2 hours to get there. Yeah.
As a kid, you know, you're not really sure what's in the dark. Once you see what's just beyond the light is when you realize that all your innocence is gone.
It made me believe in the unbelievable. I didn't believe in myths. I didn't believe in wise tales, none of that, until I seen that. And after that, it changed my life forever. I mean, there's things out there and we don't know what they are.
I wish we could have found its body that night. Before our time is up, it's done. If we have it our way, we're actually going to drag Sheep Squatch out of these woods.
While folks in Breckinridge County are fearing what's in the woods, in another pocket of Appalachia, the fear is focused on what might arrive from space. Deep in the heart of Christian County, Kentucky, lies the rural hamlet of Kelly.
Faye Sutton Morse and her daughter Geraldine.
Kelly is a quiet little community. Not very many people live there, probably about maybe 3 or 4 churches at the most, and just regular common country folk, like me.
No theater, nothing. There's not even a gas station there.
In the middle of this tiny speck of Appalachia lives native Geraldine Sutton Stith. Geraldine was 8 years old when she first learned about a family secret. A terrifying alien encounter at their farmhouse more than 5 decades ago.
You talk about one little kid being scared to death. I was petrified.
A reenactment of Geraldine as a young child, pacing around her bedroom and checking under her bed on a stormy night.
I would go around at night, closing the doors and windows, the shades, the curtains, everything, as soon as that darkness started falling. This is the great American horror story.
Gotta get the gun.
Men arm themselves with guns as a Kentucky green man appears at their farmhouse window. Part 3.
In 1955, one of the most famous UFO incidents allegedly took place at the Sutton family farmhouse in Kelly, Kentucky.
This is where it happened. This is the actual property, the actual spot, you know, everything. And so it's kind of like, wow. I'll never forget the day that I learned my father's deep, dark secret. It'll be with me forever.
Locals congregate in a field, decorated with bunting, lights and dotted with stalls.
One fall day, the Sutton family spent the afternoon at a traveling carnival. The group included Geraldine's father, Lucky, his friend Billy Ray Taylor, Faye Morris's parents, J.C. and Eileen, and their young children. For this country clan, it was a rare break from farm drudgery. By turns fun, strange, and scary.
Lucky shows off his strength on the strongman stool.
But they had no idea that the scariest part of their day was fast approaching. From space. Late in the afternoon, at Glennie Sutton's farmhouse, the family was settling in. They assumed the day was coming to an end. It was just beginning.
That was Mama, Daddy, Uncle Amber, Aunt Vera, Billy Ray Taylor, and I think his wife was there. And it was me, Johnny, and Kathy, Grandma, Charles, Lonnie, and Mary. And that's, you know, that's it.
It was a house full that weekend. 14 people in that little bitty house. The only communication with the outside world they had was a radio. They were all in the house playing cards or doing something like that. And the old hound dog came running across in front of them, tail tucked, ears down, went straight under the porch. It was kind of eerie, you know. My dad's like, okay, maybe he just got into some beehive, you know, whatever. Didn't know what it was. But, oh my goodness. August the 21st, 1955 was a life changer for the Sutton Langford family.
It all began later that night.
Now, they didn't have air conditioning. They didn't have running water. So anyway, Billy Ray went out to the well to get some cold water.
Billy Ray stops pumping the well's handle and shields his eyes from a bright light beaming down upon him from the night sky.
Well, he heard something, looked up, and he's seen this oval silver object going across the sky. Colors following behind it. Didn't know what it was, had no clue. Ran into the house, told everybody.
They thought he was pulling a joke, you know. But later on, they found he wasn't joking. Something was out there.
When Billy Ray and Lucky went outside to investigate, the lights in the sky were gone, but they weren't alone.
They noticed there was something coming out of the woods in the back. 3.5 foot tall. Big ears, big eyes, arms down to the ground, and it was floating atop the ground, legs not moving.